I was going to do two randoms. I'm not gonna do two randoms. I'm just gonna do this one last video. This will be a chit chat, and we're gonna call it a day. All right, because I really want to get back to watching the Adjustment Syndicate push these motherfuckers' head in. There's a lot of things going on in the world today, and a lot of us just don't want to be aware. We don't want to acknowledge the shit that's going on, and a lot of us are just all out frustrated, scared, and confused, and we need to get this problem fixed. All right? Like I said, I want to watch the Adjustment Syndicate push people's head in. You guys should go follow the Adjustment Syndicate because they're awesome, and they're out to destroy people who are doing Native American erasure and African American erasure. And since I come from both Native American and African American descent, I support the Adjustment Syndicate, and I support the Native Americans and the African Americans who don't want to erase African history or Native history. As for the ethnocentrics or the Afrocentrics, the fucking extremists who want to be Native American but don't know shit about Native culture other than dancing with feathers, I don't support you guys at all. And you need to grow the fuck up and stop. Today I watched a guy who is more Native than black. He was my polar opposite. Like, completely my polar opposite. He wants to be black more than anything in the world. Well, I just want to be accepted for being mixed. He's mixed. And he will have no part of his Native history because his Native history is Mexican. But Mexicans are Native Americans too. And this young idiot, gotta be like 20 years old, man. Maybe 24, maybe 21. Young guy, man. Refuses to embrace his heritage. I had this identity crisis when I was younger. I've made enough videos on here for you guys to know I tried to be black so bad. I tried to be black for the bulk of my life. I still put black down when I apply for jobs. I do not put down Native American. I put down black because I'm also part black. My birth certificate says black, so I put down black. Alright? I am part black. I'm also part Native. I don't deny my heritage. I know. I'm also part white. But we all know that, let's look at society. They're never going to say I'm a white man. They're never going to look me dead in the face and say, oh, Echo Fan Grey Wolf, you know you're actually a white man. I'm not my great-grandfather. I'm not my grandfather, who looked like a white man until the day he died. He was very white passing, or white presenting. But he worked on a dairy farm for the bulk of his life. And I'm pretty sure he had a heart attack and died at his house. But I don't remember. I was 6 when he died. And on my dad's side, I was 8 when my great-grandmother Ada died. I was 36, or about to be 36, when her daughter, my grandmother, died. Didn't get a lot of Native history from either one of them outside of folklore and running through the woods in moccasins with her family. That's it. I got some corn and pancakes, and I was forced to eat that shit. So, yeah. And unfortunately, I am dreadfully afraid of horses. And I know people are going to say, but you're part Native. You're supposed to get along with horses. Yeah, fuck that shit. I'm not getting near horses if I can help it. Except maybe Frank, because that's the one horse that I actually got to like. That was my ex-girlfriend's horse. Just want everybody to understand, man. Mixed people. This is for you. All through our lives, growing up, we have had and will continue to have identity crisis. But people like the pretendians and the ethnocentrics and shit, they have no fucking idea what it's like to not be accepted, what it's like to not fit in, what it's not to not be able to tell people, I'm this, but I'm also this. And they're like, no. Somewhere in this live that I'm watching, somebody told me there's no such thing as mixed. And I'm like, I don't know. I kept my mouth shut, but in the back of my head, I'm like, what are they teaching people in school? There is a such thing as mixed. We fucking exist. And I think I'm going to make a TikTok about that before I go to sleep tonight. But I am going to evaluate the fact that people can be triracial. And it is not fair for people to think that mixed people should have to choose. How? How am I supposed to choose? Now, yeah, I have chosen that I can never be white. We can see that. My brown, my high yellow. I'm never going to be white. And I have accepted that shit. Now, for the bulk of my childhood was you're not black enough, you're not black enough, you're not good enough, you're not black enough. And most of that shit came from black people. And like I said, time and time again, I've had 2 bad Native American experiences on the same fucking day. I can count on one hand how many Native American experiences I can have. I have to count on both hands how many bad experiences I've had from white people because I'm mixed. I can count on my hands and my feet, maybe head, shoulders, knees, and toes for how many experiences that I've had with black people. However, I don't hate not one damn race of people for being mean to me. Those people that are mean to me are in those racial diasporas. But you can't blame every white person for every time somebody black got hung. That white person you might be blaming might be an activist for black people. Same thing with that black person. Might be an activist for white people. There aren't, everybody on earth is not racist. Alright, but everybody on earth has the potential to be racist. And we need to fix it. We need to fix it. Like I said, Native Americans can be just as racist. When I was in my 20s, I told you guys that 2 guys in a wheelchair, they didn't want me dating their niece, and again, I did not handle it well. I handled it as best I could as a guy who likes to punch people in the face. Because I asked first. I was like, yo, can you stand up? He's like, no. I said, alright, cool. He's like, why did you ask? I said, because if you can't stand up, that means you can't fight me back, and I can't defend myself fighting someone who can't defend themselves. There's no honor in that. And so I threatened to roll him into a big ass oak tree. It's no longer there. Traffic is still there, but I threatened to roll his big brother into oncoming traffic. Wasn't the best idea. I am ashamed that I did that shit. But I wouldn't really say I'm ashamed. More like I'm kind of angry that I could have just walked away. I should have just walked away. And that young lady should have just been womaned up and said, if I want to date this half-breed, I can date this half-breed. But that's not how that worked out. They shooed her away because she was like 18, and I was 23. I get it, man. You listen to your elders. And she did what they told her to do. But then they jumped down my shit. But luckily, I have a Mohawk friend who's also named Courtney, and he laid into their ass. That was the last day I got to see her, and I hope that she's doing well. As far as her uncles, I have no ill will for them. After that day, I was like, you know what? I'll never see these motherfuckers again. I don't give a flying fuck. They can go dance with some wolves or something. And I didn't think too much more about that shit until I started telling people this story. And I sometimes think that I was in the wrong for threatening to roll one of them down a hill and roll the other one into oncoming traffic. And the only reason why I said that was because they didn't have the ability to stand up and fight back, making me equally racist as them. The worst racist white guy I had was when I worked at Kepler's, and he wouldn't stop calling me chief for 3 years straight, every fucking weekend. Outside of that, most white people haven't been too bad, except for like maybe a couple of grade school kids calling me the N-word, calling me a zebra. That's pretty much it. But the black kids, on the other hand, they doubled down. You're a zebra. Oh, you're part native now. Hey, Tonto. Hey, Juan. Oh, you're part Mexican. I'm not Mexican. I will say that the college teacher from Spain who said, hey, Jaime, I never met a Mexican who can't speak Spanish. That was probably the worst. She was from Spain, and she was a white lady, and she let me have it. She's like, I never met a Mexican that can't speak Spanish. And I'm like, she clearly doesn't have American culture. And I'm like, first off, that's very fucking racist. Second, I'm not Mexican. I am part Native American, but I'm not Mexican. And at the time, I didn't know Mexicans were Native Americans too, because borders and lies have fucked up the United States of America. So in closing, let me put it to you this way. If we in America can just get a grip on our racist ideologies and put that shit to the side, the world would probably be a better place to live. That's the kind of world I want to live in where, I can date a Chinese girl, I can date a black girl, I can date a white girl, and no one's going to give us odd fucking looks. Here's the thing. As a mixed person, I can't date out of my race because everybody basically is my race. So therefore, me dating out of my race, yes! It's a fucking option. Thank you guys for watching. I am Echo Fan Great Wolf. This is Kung Fu Alpha number 2. Be seeing.